Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the state capitol and we're joined by Aaron Popelka from the Kansas Livestock Association. Aaron, thanks for joining us this morning. Budget time, this time of the year, we start working through the budget. A lot of things that farmers and ranchers need to be worried about, concerned about. Ag's doing its part as far as the economy goes. What should we be worried about?
Yeah, so coming into this year, the revenue estimates for the state of Kansas were that we're going to have a budget shortfall for the current fiscal year, which ends June 30th, of about $279 million. If nothing's done the next year, fiscal year 2016, we'd then be just shy of $650 million short. And so one of the things, because we're halfway through the fiscal year, the governor is allowed to do certain allotments. So the Department of Agriculture is included in that. And one of the things that the governor decided to do is doing a 4% across the board cut. So for an agency like Department of Ag, though, they're primarily funded only about $10 million or 25% through state general fund. So that equates to about a $400,000 cut. And the Secretary of Agriculture, Jackie McClaskey, has we've visited with her, and she says that she can absorb those mostly through staffing. Mixing around staffing. So Department of Ag should be okay. But for the broader picture down the road, the state's going to have to either do an additional cut or money transfers or raise additional revenues. So one of the things looking to the next fiscal year is there's a lot of different agency efficiency and reductions, but they're going to have to raise some more revenue. In the governor's budget, he's proposed raising what's called the sin tax on alcohol, tobacco, but also, if you remember a few years ago, we started kind of reducing income tax rates. Right. They're proposing to hold them steady at 4.6% for this year, and then for the upper tax bracket, the lower tax bracket, they're going to allow to go down from 2.7 to 2.66 next year. And then they're going to establish a income tax reduction fund for any revenue that's 103% over the next year. They're going to use that then to buy down income tax rates in the future. But again, that's the governor's proposal, and the legislature's got to approve something. One of the fears, I think, for agriculture is a few of the more urban legislators last year introduced a bill dealing with property tax valuations. The goal here is that if you look at your property taxes, 20 mils goes to fund state education. And some of them are looking at changing, now use values in the Constitution, so that measures the income potential of land, not fair market value, and for good reason. One of the things they're looking at, though, the formula is in statute, and they can vary what's called the capitalization rate. And that is, think of it as the inverse of the interest rate. Right. The lower the interest rate, the more money you could potentially make off the land, so the higher your taxes. The higher the interest rate, the lower your taxes, to again reflect that income earning potential. Well, one of the things that this senator wants to do is to take and allow that to float, because there's a cap and ceiling to protect the producer in the county, so it can only float so far up and down to stabilize revenue streams. He wants to remove that. If you were to do that, on average, that increased taxes on ag land 170% in 1 year. Wow. So we're fighting pretty hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. We're
going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with Aaron. We're going to talk about a few House and Senate bills. You're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459.
Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com.
Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the state capitol, joined by Aaron with Kansas Livestock Association. Aaron, we're talking about legislative things coming up this year that we need to be aware of. A lot of water bills in both the House and Senate.
Yeah, so one of the bills is actually a holdover from last year, and this has to do with watershed dams. these structures, it's become increasingly more difficult to get them built. But one of the impediments we found is the United States Army Corps of Engineers have said that they will not allow watersheds to hold easements, which is part of their mitigation process. And so the watershed districts are having problems finding people to hold the easements, and so this bill would allow the Department of Agriculture to do that, so then they can move forward with the easement process. So we're hopeful. We almost got that done last year. We're hopeful it can happen again this year. The other is a bill to allow multi-year flex accounts, which was done a number of years ago. These are 5-year plans that give you a 5-year allotment of water, and farmers can move around the amount of water they use in 1 year. Those have been really popular, and one of the things as we come to the end of this first 5-year term is that some farmers are having, water right holders are having some water left over. And so this would allow them, if they have up to 1 year's authorized amount of water left over, they could roll that into a new plan, and then use that in another 5-year period. That's probably a fairly good deal. The last one is on stream augmentation, and that has to do with in the Rattlesnake Basin, Fish and Wildlife Service, Quivira National Wildlife Refuge holds a senior water right. They filed an impairment hearing, and while that hasn't been decided yet, if it's decided that they are being impaired, that could shut down water rights. And so the Department of Agriculture would like the chief engineer to be able to augment that stream flow with groundwater. Currently, the Groundwater Management District holds some water rights, and so if we add this to the statute, they'd be able to pump that water in and deliver some water to Quivira in case there was an impairment.
Perfect. Well, our goal is to catch up with Aaron at least once a month while we're in session and kind of get an idea of what some of the bills that ranchers and farmers need to be aware of. We'll see you in just a minute.